as you might be able to tell by the change in my normal background, we are starting to plan for our August 2023 Walt Disney World trip, and today is the first video in this series. We are headed to one of Disney's biggest EPCOT festivals, Food and Wine, hence my little ratatouille ears and my Bobble Bar kitchen inspired earrings. The goal of today's video is to round up what is going to be worth your bites at the 2023 Food and Wine Festival. And selfishly, this is where I get to plan out my menu items, and I am going to be making notes for myself, so I encourage you to do the same. For this year, Food and Wine starts July 27th and ends November 18th, which means by the time you are watching this video, Food and Wine is full on. To see what's to come in this festival, since we will actually get to be there again this year, and of course, even more Disney content, weight loss surgery related food videos specific to Disney, please make sure you're subscribed here. Food and Wine is recognized as Disney's OG festival because it premiered in 1996 with 25 booths. It seems like since then, Disney figured out that this was so successful, so now they have festivals most times of the year specific to EPCOT, and they've extended the dates. So there are few and far between weekends or weeks where Disney doesn't host a festival in EPCOT. Did you know that Food and Wine used to be exclusive to the fall, and now it runs midsummer through the fall? So they really keep extending the dates on either end right before the holiday festival. If you've been here for more than Disney content, you know that I recently celebrated my 4-year bariatric, that's what I like to call it. I had VSG surgery in July of 2019. So the little bariatric twist of this particular video is, yes, to update you on new menu offerings around the countries in EPCOT, but also to focus on what I think are going to be worth your bites or things that I am interested in trying. And it turns out that this is a niche market. There are a lot of us who love Disney so much, but who have also undergone or are undergoing bariatric surgery. So this is kind of a blend or a merge of both of those worlds. And if you're not here for any weight loss surgery content and just want to know about EPCOT Food and Wine, think of this as like what's gonna be worth your money. It's like a little Chelsea curated menu. So stick around. This will be our 5th pilgrimage to Food and Wine. So when I'm going through the menus, if there's something that I've had that I recommend to you, I will share that. And if it's something new, I'll make sure to share that as well. Are you ready to get into the booths? Because there sure are a lot of them. I'm gonna scooch a little bit this way because I have lots of photos to show you to put up on the screen here. We are starting with the Alps. So this was a newer booth, and last year I thought I was going to love this booth because it's cheese-based, but it turns out that it is raclette cheese specific, which is both very hot, I don't mean spicy, I mean melty, but also very stinky. Keep in mind, I will be there in August, Florida heat. So I will probably be passing by those particular dishes. But if you're going into the later fall or chillier months, I feel like this could be a really soul comforting food. One of their new items this year is a dark chocolate fondue. I tend to skip the desserts at Food and Wine, maybe with some exceptions, because I would rather spend my bites on savory items. Speaking of sweet over savory, this booth features a frozen rosé, which I know Mark will love, and I love rosé. You know that. But frozen rosé does not agree with my stomach post-op. It's a bit too sugary, so I will let him enjoy that one. Fun story. Last year, when Mark and I were at Food and Wine Festival, we were literally in EPCOT when we learned on the flight tracker app that our flight had been delayed by 30 to 45 minutes. We were quite literally walking out of EPCOT to our resort, promptly turned around, ran back into EPCOT, to get this particular dish. I immediately ran to Australia to get the grilled sweet and spicy berry bush shrimp. This was one of the last things I ate at the festival. I got in line, I got the shrimp, and it comes with like pineapple and sugar snap peas, and I covered it with a second plate, those little like paper bowls, and ran back to the exit of EPCOT. Even after all of the running, the sugar snap peas were crunchy, well seasoned, and delicious, and the shrimp were like perfectly flavored and excellent for sharing. If you're into seafood, this is on the menu again this year. I would highly recommend. Belgium has the same menu from last year, and I do remember Callie getting one of the waffles, though I will stand by, I think you can get better waffles at Magic Kingdom. But for a kid's item, this is something she was excited about because it comes with chocolate syrup on it. But there's a dish here that's beef with a smoked Gouda mashed potatoes. I'm wondering if it will be too hot for me to want to try that, but it's on the list. I know I can convince Mark to share this with me. Let's just say it. Brazil's cheese bread is unparalleled. 2 years ago, I ate it for breakfast with a glass of Prosecco. Chef's kiss for that. Last year, I ate it to soak up some of the champagne I'd been imbibing in from France. Either way, it's perfect. If you're not getting the cheese bread from Brazil, you are doing this festival wrong. I will not accept counter arguments. So I know I'm gonna be forced to go to Brewing again, which is located in the Odyssey building. Said it before and I'll say it again. Chicken wings and I aren't friends. I don't like to eat things off a bone. I feel like they never have as much like punchy flavor as I want them to, though I will give Brewing credit. They do offer a lot of unique different flavor options, but this year the Muppets are doing a science lab inside of Brewing. Beaker and Bunsen Honeydew are brewing up, get it? Some creative concoctions. This is one of Mark's favorite booths. One of the new flavors this year is the orange cardamom. I would be interested to smell that. Mark loved the peanut butter and jelly wings last year, and they have a pickle milkshake this year. Because I'll be forced to go there, there is something new on the menu this year also. It's Impossible chicken tenders. Those I would be more likely to try as long as they come with a good sauce. Stay tuned, I'll keep you posted. There is a new booth. Actually, there are several new booths this year that are meant for me, and I'm going to miss them all. Disney does phased rollouts, and this next booth is not opening until September 22nd, so I will miss the rollout of this new one. It's called Bubbles and Brine, aka Champagne Prosecco and seafood. Those are the two things I consume all summer long. The wine list here is divine, featuring a Veuve Rosé. I do believe you can still get that in France in that little hidden nook in the back where the champagne bar is. So I'll look for that because I'm going to be missing this booth. But they also are going to have like a jumbo shrimp cocktail with a Prosecco cocktail sauce. That sounds incredible. And a caviar with champagne cream. I've never had caviar, but I would try it in Disney, but I'm going to miss it. So if you get it, I would love for you to come back to this video and leave me a comment letting me know if it was worth your bites. For Canada, I feel like the menu for food and wine isn't different enough from Le Cellier. They have this scrumptious signature soup that has bacon and cheese, but I'm not eating hot soup in August in Disney. Again, that's one you might want to have later into the fall. And their main dish is a filet, and I know that my stomach loves filet, but it's a bit too heavy in the middle of the day for me. So I would still recommend getting a table at Le Cellier to experience their whole vibe. My sister just came back and they had dinner here for the first time, and she said it was magical. The food was incredible. The kids menu has this very special mac and cheese. The tableside bread and butter is even delicious. Like, it's not just standard. So I would skip the booth and book the restaurant. instead of eating what's at the booth, if that makes sense. Another new booth premiering in September is called Char and Chop. I like these new 2-word booth names. There is a roasted porchetta salad that I think looks really interesting. An Impossible grilled spicy sausage. So if you're not familiar with Impossible, I know I've mentioned it earlier even here. Impossible just means that this meat isn't meat, it's vegan or vegetarian meat, hence the name The Impossible, but it's a brand. And there's a meat trio here that I think would honestly be perfect for bariatric people because it's like small portions of multiple things. Get that protein in, even when you're at the festival. I feel like we might need to book a second trip. Last year I mentioned that in China, the menu touted the bao bun as being new, but I know I had it before. This year it's actually new because it features duck instead of chicken. I'm not sure I've ever had duck, but I feel like this is the place to try new things if Mark kind of agrees to share in splitsies with me. But with the hoisin sauce, I love a bao. I feel like this might be on the list, pending there's room in my tummy. Coastal Eats doesn't have anything new on their menu this year. Last year I said I was going to try the oysters Rockefeller. I did not. It was hot and they looked not as appetizing as I wanted them to look. And yeah, that's a really privileged statement. Your girl lives on Cape Cod where I am blessed with fresh seasonal seafood all summer long. So when I see seafood and it doesn't look a certain way, I'll wait till I come home. What they do have here is a Southern Australian Brut Cuvée, which is a sparkling wine that I do think I'd like to try this time. We now have 2 booths that begin with flavors. Flavors from America and Flavors from Fire. They are different. Flavors from America is like a melting pot situation. There are 2 Italian dishes and 1 Hispanic. If it's not sweltering hot, she says optimistically, I would really like to try the chilaquiles. It's like a loaded nacho situation based on the description with roasted chicken and salsa and queso on top of tortilla chip. But it also comes with a soft poached egg and a little bit of like avocado crema. So I'm excited to see what this looks like in photos. But if it looks good and it's not sweltering hot, this is going to be on my list. Sadly, the bao that Mark and I have loved for years at Flavors of Fire is no longer on the menu. Sorry if you can hear the lawn mowing going on outside. But there are 2 new menu items that I'm excited to try here, and normally at a booth, there's like 1 thing that I might want to try. This is exciting because there's 2. The chimichurri marinated skirt steak taco. We had chimichurri steak at the restaurant that revolves in Sunshine Seasons, Garden Grill, and it was spectacular. So I'm excited to try this recipe and see if they're similar. And the spiced chocolate tart sounds awesome. I love the idea of like crunched up potato chips and chocolate, like the sweet and salty together. Spicy chocolate, sea salt, and potato chips. This is a dessert I'll make room for. This is one that I will make an exception for. Now, you know that France is my go-to booth every single festival, no matter the time of year. But I was really sad when we tried the beignet. It was heavy and didn't have as much flavor as I wanted it to. Now, I've never been to real France and eaten a beignet, so maybe that's exactly what they're supposed to taste like, but I kind of hope not. The redemption has always been the escargot. That's my favorite thing to get there. I prefer when they do them in small puff pastries rather than just one big one. So we'll see what we get this year, but regardless, the puff pastry is always like garlicky and buttery. So good. The fry basket was new last year, and while the trio was on my maybe list, I never did try that, and I'm okay with it. There were a ton of people who did, and they raved about 2 of the 3 different kinds of fries. But this year, there is a dill pickle French fry with a ranch sauce. That's a must-do. Germany is a pass for me. I would rather spend my bites at Caramel Couché. It's fun to try to pronounce the items on the menu, but everything here looks heavy. Pass. I finally got to eat Greece's griddled cheese with pistachios and honey. It was everything I hoped it would be and more. It's so much lighter than you think it's going to be because it's like a literal piece of cheese, but the freshness of the pistachios and honey, Mark and I shared this. I will definitely be getting this again. It was delicious. We're going to miss the opening of the Hawaiian booth, but that's a little bit bittersweet because the Kahlua pork that we've had here in the past isn't as good as the Aulani Kahlua pork. We've had the privilege of going to Aulani twice. We have a trip coming up next year, so like a year from now. And when we ate this, we thought, oh, because it's the Hawaiian booth, it's going to taste like Aulani's. It didn't. It fell short. An upside is that this booth is like a little baby Aulani with the thatched roof. It's so cute to look at, even if you don't want anything off the menu. On a whim, I ordered the curry spiced crispy cheese with the mango curry ketchup from the India booth, and this delivered. It's like little rectangular, denser mozzarella sticks that have a kind of a kick, but a really good flavor. And the ketchup is like sweet and bright, but with a smoky undertone. This is for sharing for sure because the cheese is quite dense, but wow, I was surprised by this and I will likely get it again. I would love to see if Callie likes this too. Unfortunately, Ireland has always been a pass for me. I feel like they don't update their menu items, at least not since I've been making these videos, and everything looks too heavy and hot for an August day. Now, Italy, I am hoping this is the year for them. They have all new menu items. In the past, Italy has stuck to really like traditional conservative flavors, which has been really disappointing. And honestly, all three of these items sound delicious. I'm going to read them to you so I get them right. There is a freshly baked focaccia that comes with beef meatballs, tomato sauce, and burrata cheese. The cavatelli with sweet sausage, ragu, and crispy applewood smoked bacon. I will probably skip that one because while the bacon sounds delicious, it is primarily pasta. And one of the desserts that I was surprised to be so interested in is this lemon ricotta cheesecake because it sounds light and fresh, and I love lemon and I love cheesecake. It just sounds so good. So when the vlog comes out showing you what I ate, I'm hoping 2 of those 3 things are on that list. Japan always has really interesting menu options, and this year is no exception. They have a new sushi roll that is like a spicy tuna, and what I think will be the highlight is the beef wagyu don. This is a wagyu rice bowl. Mark is going to lose his mind, but I know I'll get to take at least 1 bite. Just an FYI, if you're looking for my opinion here, I think sushi is like the perfect protein bite-sized meal. I'm gonna wanna take a look and see what this sushi roll looks like because I'm not that adventurous of a sushi eater, but if it looks like something that I could enjoy, then perhaps this will have to go on the bite list. I tried the peri peri shrimp from Kenya last year, and it was a bit underwhelming. It was good, it just wasn't great. And here's where the difference comes in between having a bariatric tummy and a regular tummy. If I had a regular sized stomach, I would eat this and be like, oh, that was good, let's move on. But instead, I want all my bites to be great because I don't want to feel like I am filling my tummy with any wasted space. Like I don't want to take a bite of something, swallow it, and then feel like, oh, that could have been filled with something better. The citrus rice was good. I wanted it to be brighter and more fresh. The shrimp were good. I just wish they had more flavor. So if you're going for shrimp, I would go to Australia and skip Kenya. Excitingly, Mexico is showcasing 3 new dishes this year. They have a tostada de carnitas, braised pork on a fried corn tortilla with black beans, avocado mousse, and queso fresco. A taco de costilla, which is a slow braised beef short rib on a corn tortilla with salsa de chile morita, avocado mousse, and spring onions. This is the one I want to try. And then there's a flan, which I will be skipping, but there's a spicy marg that has Mark's name written all over it. The Noodle Exchange will be opening mid-August, like August 15th-ish. Sometimes these booths do open a little bit earlier. And last year, one of the standout items of the whole festival that I didn't eat was the pho. This year there is a ramen broth on the menu that looks delicious, and I'm sure it's gonna smell so good, like that umami smell. But again, broth in 105-degree heat, hard pass. A Disney tragedy. Mac and Eats is no longer, which means my favorite food item ever from Food and Wine, which is the cowboy mac and cheese, is not something that I can get this year. That only means I'll have more tummy space to try new things, but I'm really sad we had this 2 years in a row, and wow, this was like a life-changing mac and cheese. And I say that as someone who's not a mac and cheese lover. So think about how good that actually is. At Shimmering Sips, I always get the wine flight, but this year I think I'm just gonna go with the blood orange mimosa. It's the one I like the most. The other two I like but don't love. So could I just share that mimosa with Mark? Or keep it all to myself? Sadly, Spain is keeping with their charcuterie in a cup again this year. I did try it. I liked the olives, the cheese was really good, like the olive oil, but that's kind of all I went for. I like dug around for those things. Not worth my bites. I'd rather put something else in there. So far, which of these dishes is on your must-eat list? Whether you're going or not, I'd love to know. Will you put that in the comments below? Later in September, there's going to be a new booth called the Swirled Showcase, which is exactly what you think it is. It's soft serve ice cream, swirly cones, waffle cones, etc. This isn't one that I would stop at because I'm not gonna fill my tummy with like sugary things, but I'm wondering why Disney is choosing to debut this in mid-September rather than during the hottest month of the year. I've never tried anything on the menu from Tangerine Cafe. One of the things they tout is that they have more vegetarian and vegan plant-based options than any other booth. I do think the pistachio cake looks really pretty. It just looks like spongy and light. So this might be one that we try, again, if there's room. It's not a must-do, it's a could-do. And lastly, Disney is debuting this last new booth in September. It's called Wine and Wedge. Disney, are you serious? You're coming out with a wine and cheese booth when I won't be there? The audacity. There's literally a cheese charcuterie board here, a Boursin fig and balsamic tapenade, southern pimento cheese with pickled bread and butter veggies, and there's a wine and cheese pairing board. It's like artisanal cheeses with their appropriate wines. I feel personally offended by Walt Disney World, and in the future I hope they open this one earlier. Maybe by the nectar of the sweet Disney gods, it will be open when we go. We'll manifest it. If you like this video, will you let me know by giving me a thumbs up to see what kind of festival content that you want me to make while I'm there. So we've wrapped all of the booths. I didn't cover like KidCot, special activities, concert series, or where Disney does like their static booths, if you will, that feature the same things every year that aren't countries. If you want that, will you let me know? I'm so excited to start sharing with you all the prep work that we're doing for this trip. I hope you are too, and that you're having a magical week. I love you. We'll see you next week with even more Disney and weight loss surgery content. Bye, friends.